I want to talk about food addiction. And it's a very controversial subject. And I'm going to give some of my opinions on the topic. Now, eating in today's society is mostly for entertainment purposes, or an entertaining environment. It could be for stimulation of taste, stimulation of environment, such as going to a place like McDonald's where they have toys and clowns and things to play on. You know, eating in our society is a lot more than just eating for nourishment or for survival. Now, my personal experience in food addiction was realized once I stopped eating foods that were addictive. And that's a lot easier said than done. You know, the first part of getting over an addiction is realizing that you have an addiction problem. And that's generally 90% of the problem, is just in realizing that you have a problem with being addicted to certain foods. For me, I realized that I was severely addicted to all types of cooked foods, stimulating foods, when I became a fruitarian and stopped eating those things. A fruitarian diet doesn't mean that you can't eat foods that taste good or that stimulate you emotionally, spiritually, and physically. Without a doubt, the food that I eat is enjoyable, it's stimulating, I feel good when I eat it, makes me happy. My wife was brought up in a quite religious Jewish community, and often when I meet her friends or her relatives, they question me about, how do I not eat chicken anymore? Or don't I crave these things? And when I tell them that I really don't and crave them or feel the desire to eat them anymore, I really believe they almost don't believe me. Or I think they feel almost sorry for me, like I'm missing out, and that they pity me in a lot of ways. So often I say to them, I said to this one person, listen, you're religious and you're Jewish, so that means that you won't eat pork, or you won't eat milk and meat together like a cheeseburger. And of course the reaction is, oh, of course not. I would never consider eating bacon or a ham sandwich. So I try to use that as an example to explain to them that I'm not making up my sincerity when I say that I don't miss eating chicken anymore. I say to them, when's the last time you craved a ham sandwich or a bacon cheeseburger? And when I ask them that question, the reaction is, well, I never even consider eating those things. In their mind, psychologically, a cheeseburger or a ham sandwich isn't consciously thought of as food. Now, they don't feel deprived, and they don't walk around questioning, oh, I wonder what it tastes like, or oh, I wish I could have a ham sandwich or a bacon cheeseburger. They don't consider it food. It's not tied into their brain emotionally, mentally, psychologically. So for them, it's not something they miss. Now, when I stopped eating cooked foods for a long period of time, the same type of mental, emotional, and psychological associations with cooked food came into my being. I don't look at mashed potatoes or chicken or rice or candy as food. I don't miss it, I don't eat it, and I don't feel deprived. And I only came to that point once I stopped eating those things for a long period of time, and I replaced those things that I used to eat with things that I know are good for me, that are always going to be good for me, in big quantities or in small quantities. If I eat lots of high water content natural fruits as my primary source of calories, I feel fantastic. I feel and perform my best. That's my addiction. My addiction is to health. That's where I feel and want to be at all times. Another example that I can use is things that smell good. When's the last time you smelled a beautiful flower? It smelled fantastic. It almost gave you a high when you brought in the unique smell of the rose or or another beautiful plant that you admire? Or what about perfume? When you smelled something that you associate with going out late at night, or that it makes you feel good when you saw somebody that you were attracted to. Perfume smells good, just like flowers and other things that aren't associated as food. Now, some people enjoy the smell of gasoline, but they don't want to drink it. And the same goes for perfume, or when you see a beautiful flower and it smells good, you don't associate it as something to eat. I don't disagree that a barbecue smells good, but I don't associate the smell of flesh on a grill as being something that I want to eat. In fact, now, after not eating meat for such a long period of time, when I smell a barbecue, I don't deny that it smells good, but I feel very badly for the people that are eating it, for the animal that died for it. But I don't associate that smell with something that is something to eat. You need to have confidence and faith that when you give up eating foods that aren't good for you anymore, that you will be free. You will not crave them if you just give yourself the chance to get off of them. Just like if you were a former smoker, or somebody that used to drink too much, or somebody that even smoked cigars or pipes or did drugs. Once you stop doing these things for a period of time, you will naturally get over them. And you won't be miserable. Former smokers are usually so happy that they don't smoke anymore and they're not addicted to these things. People that used to eat meat that don't eat meat anymore, that become vegetarians or vegans, are usually very happy not to have these things in their life anymore. If you're eating fractioned foods like oil, or eating high-fat raw foods like nut pâtés, or you're still eating things with spices and salt, and you're really wanting to get to the most peak performance and health in your life, and you know these things aren't necessarily the best for you, try to stop eating them and give yourself that chance to let go of these things. Free yourself from being enslaved to the stimulating effects of these foods that aren't in the best interest of your health. So that's my opinion on food addiction. It's insidious, it's extremely difficult to give up these things, but once you do, once you finally get over the hump, you won't suffer anymore. These things won't have control over you. And it's the greatest thing ever when you eat for health, when nothing controls you, when you're in charge of your life, and you feel fantastic and you're in peak performance at all times. So that's my wish for you. Have faith that you will get over these addictions. Please give yourself the chance to accept that you are addicted to these foods, and when you do, that's your first and hardest step in getting to a better place where you want to be.